Hi, my name is Robert Quinn. I own JetJock's Aerial Photography, and today I'm going to talk to you about planning and executing an aerial photography shoot. Aerial photography is a way to bring a very unique perspective of a target to a customer. Instead of just being in front of a target, you can be above it, and you can get a large amount of land in one single shot. A lot of work goes into an aerial photo shoot, and people normally would underestimate what a pilot or a crew would actually do to get the job done. Well, you have a planning stage and an execution stage. In your planning stage, the first thing you want to do is identify the target that you're going to be taking photos of. You also want to find out what type of photo the customer wants you to take. There are several different types of photos, and depending on which one they want, that's going to change the mission profile and affect your planning. Next, you want to schedule the flight. A lot of work goes into the scheduling. Weather is a big issue and probably the most important issue. If it's a bad day, IFR or instrument flight rules where you can't see anything out of the plane, there's no point in going up flying. So you want to have good weather, and generally you want to have low cloud cover. The time of day is very important because the sun angle is going to affect the way the photo comes out. If you have a very high sun angle, you may lose shadows on the ground, and that takes away from a three-dimensional object. You start to lose dimensions, and the object that you're taking the photo of looks flat. Next, you want to find out if the aircraft you're scheduling for is in maintenance or if it's okay to go. If it's okay to go, you can move on to the next part, which is a safety pilot if you use one. Some aerial photographers don't choose to use a safety pilot and fly on their own as well as take photos. Personally, I like to use a safety pilot every time I fly. That way I can concentrate on the shoot 100% and let him take care of all the communication and the flying while we're on the mission. You also want to consider restricted airspace. If you're going to be flying in restricted Class B, Class C, or Class D airspace, you want to make sure you get your plan together on paper 100% to the T, and you forward your information to the respective controlling authority for that airspace and coordinate ahead of time. That way, when you're in flight, you can contact them and make sure that they've got the information, and they can refer back to that sheet anytime they're in question of what actually is going on during the flight. The execution is the next part of the photo shoot. The execution is extremely important. The number one thing in execution is communication between the photographer and the pilot, again, if you use one. The first thing you want to do before you launch the mission in the execution stage is check the camera settings. You're out there, you want to make sure that while you're on the ground, you use the opportunity where you're not multitasking to look over and make sure your camera settings are correct. After that, you're going to be flying together, so you want to operate as a team. You need to communicate with one another. Communication needs to be clear, short, and concise. At this point, you're going to fly to the target. In your planning stage, you have taken coordinates of the target and put it on a map, or you've input it into the GPS. If you have a GPS, that's great. The GPS is going to take you straight to the target or however route you need to get there. Once in the area of the target, the pilot is going to be the taxi driver, and the photographer is going to steer the pilot to the desired location. So you're looking out, you're looking for other aircraft, and you're also looking for the target on the ground. Once the target's been acquired, if the photographer found it first, he's going to let the pilot know, hey, it's over here on this side of the wing. You're going to start to do an orbit. Depending on the type of photo that you're going to do, you're going to select the altitude that's best to select that photo. You're going to begin your orbit around the target, and you're going to take as many pictures as you can. And at this point, you communicate if you need to raise the wing or lower the wing or increase the bank angle of the turn. After all said and done and you've got your pictures, you're ready to fly back home, this is a great time to have a digital camera because you can review the photos that you've taken in flight. I always carry a digital camera. We do high-resolution digital photography, so it's easy for me to check the pictures in flight versus having a 35mm or a film camera where you have to wait to get the process film. So I check my digitals before I leave the area, and if all is good and the photos look great, there's not too many shadows, it didn't come out blurry, we're ready to return home. And once we get home, it's mission complete. At that point, you process the digital images, you make sure that everything looks good, you put your tags on them, you edit as you need, and then you get your product out to the customer. The big thing about the planning and execution, it all comes down to the quality of the photo when you hand it over to the customer. If it's a great photo, you're going to continue to get business from that customer. If it's not, they're going to look elsewhere. So you have to make sure that you're on your A game and you absolutely have done the best job that you can. Otherwise, you're going to be looking for more customers and more money down the road, and the jobs that you had in the past are not going to come back to you. I'm Robert Quinn, and that was how to plan and execute an aerial photo shoot. Thanks. See ya.